We're going to go on the record, everyone. Good evening. This is a caucus of the Jersey City Municipal Council. Today is Monday, the 15th day of December in the year 2014. We had a 5:30 scheduled start. It's 5:30 p.m. Let me mark this date. Jerome Lazarus, former deputy mayor of Jersey City, is 101 years old today. And I spoke to him on the phone earlier. Sharper than me, that's for sure. Easily. With his cerebellum tied behind his back. We have all 9 members in attendance at 5:36. Already sitting in the chair is Bob Magro. Bob?
Actually, Bob's going first.
He was first. He's first.
Yeah.
That's right, the first one. That's what we'll do. Let it be fair.
I'm back in a part-time role.
As we transition.
Yes. Good evening, all. The reason that I'm here this evening, along with Assistant Director Linda Garbo, is to discuss Resolution Z5, which is a resolution awarding a contract to Dell Computer. And what Dell is reselling to the city of Jersey City is Microsoft Office 365 goods and services. And these goods and services are being sold to the city under the terms of what is called a Microsoft Enterprise Agreement. And just to give you a little historical perspective on Microsoft Enterprise Agreements, all of the PCs the city uses run the Microsoft operating system software. That's what makes the PCs go. And the Office suite running on all the city PCs is Microsoft Office Professional, including Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, PowerPoint, etc. For a number of years, the city had enrolled in the Microsoft Enterprise Agreements, which allowed us to keep the most current versions of Microsoft software running on our PCs, on our file servers, and on our laptops. In 2010, a previous business administrator decided he didn't want to spend the money any longer to continue to enroll us in the Microsoft agreements. So since 2010, we have been running a very old version of Microsoft Office Professional and also older versions of Microsoft Server software. We had reached the point where we were falling so far behind in terms of being able to create files that were compatible with our peers in other city governments and in state government that we really needed to take steps to bring us up to current versions of Microsoft software. So we solicited a proposal from Microsoft, and they vend their software in New Jersey under a state contract which is held by Dell. And what is different about this particular enterprise agreement with Microsoft, and I'm not sure how many of you may know about this, I know Councilwoman Osborne does, Microsoft has changed the model on how they provide software to their clients. It used to be you just bought a license for Microsoft Office Professional, and you were paying a per license cost, which for the professional edition could be fairly expensive. They have changed the model in the sense that, and this is everybody's favorite word these days, the cloud, that we can obtain their software and their services via the cloud. And what that means for the city is not only do we come up to the latest version of software on all of the PC desktops and all of the file servers, we also get access to other Microsoft services, such as the archiving of old email, them potentially hosting our email, If we require them to do so, they can host our files in the cloud, so on and so forth. And, you know, the archiving of email is especially important given that the large volume of OPRA requests that we get on a daily basis, and the fact that folks want to see old emails. You know, we need a mechanism to provide those emails to OPRA requesters, and also, you know, in cases where there are legal cases against the city and people need to see old email. So email archiving is one thing, hosting email is another. The pricing model for the software is also different in that although we're getting a smaller number of licenses than we previously got from Microsoft, each license allows us to install the software on multiple devices, up to 4, I believe. So you can have it on a PC, on a laptop, on a tablet, and gives us a lot of flexibility and also saves us money. The other additional item which I mentioned to Mr. Platt was that in entering this agreement with Microsoft for them to archive our mail, we'll be saving $60,000 per year in our operating budget on what we were previously paying to another company to archive our mail, separate and apart from Microsoft. So they're providing a service, they're providing the savings on the archiving, they're providing savings on the licensing of software, and basically, once we enter into this agreement, every city staff person will be able to get the most current version of Microsoft software on their desktop, and hopefully use that software to be very productive city employees.
Yeah, I have one, very detailed question, can't help it. Will it provide for Microsoft Link?
Yes.
Okay. Which, that's great, because that gives everybody in the city, and it'll be hooked into the LDAP server or whatever, so it'll give all employees the ability to go online and chat with each other securely on our network. Awesome.
Yeah, I wanted to have a Microsoft person here tonight to give you a more detailed presentation on the product because they know it better than I do. But because the agenda is kind of full, we couldn't do it tonight. But if council members are interested, I can set up a meeting, after we contract with Microsoft for you to actually speak with Microsoft reps, and they can show you exactly, what kind of services we can acquire under the contract. The other nice thing about this enterprise agreement under the pricing scheme that we've worked out is they also provide online training for all city employees who want to learn how to use the new Office professional software.
I think Link should be rolled out mandatory use for all employees.
Possible to do?
It's up to the administration.
To get an understanding of what it is.
It's just an instant message.
It's the messaging software.
But it's within your, it's not like using a, yeah.
Okay.
Okay?
So with regard to training, and I know that it's available if they want to use it, I guess going back to the idea of mandatory, but what kind of training do we mandate for all of the different functionality besides Microsoft Link?
Well, previously, when we had the resources to do so, I had a training center at One Journal Square Plaza. I had a classroom. I could arrange for outside resources to come in to actually train staff on whatever new software we brought on board. Unfortunately, because of budget cuts and because space limitations at One Journal Square Plaza, my training room went away and my money for paying for courses went away.
That's great to have all the functionality, but if folks aren't able to use it.
Well, the online courses are very good.
2015 budget, I'd suggest incorporating it into the budget, and let's see how much, if it's workable, right? Would you,
Yeah.
It's online,
Yeah.
and there's a number of webinars that we've already started to take in the IT division, and they're very good. What we try to do is have a couple people do it, like George Benjamin is doing some of those webinars. And what we do, just to be respectful, he's able to close his door and concentrate on the webinar. and get as much as he can out of that. And they're actually quite effective. You know, they're put together real.
And yeah, and we're available to provide guidance to anyone who wants to know where the online resources are for training.
So I guess this is more of a question
For the BA, which is that, I mean, the operative word there is who wants to, and as opposed to who needs to or will do it, right? So, I mean, some of these tools are necessary for people to function in their current capacities.
I think one thing that I was reading about it is the fact that it's not just using Office Pro the way we know it, as we've always known it, sitting at your desk and using it on your PC. It's now become mobile, and the fact that it's mobile, you can use it, as Bob had already mentioned, that you can use it on tablets, iPad, laptops, and that's where a lot of our problems are, a lot of the things that we have to do for inspectors. They have to go out in the field. And the fact that you can now be mobile, I think it's really taking, you know, modern problems and adding a modern solution to it. I think is, you know, and not to mention that getting, eliminating some devices, servers. You're going to eliminate some servers and some probably disk drives in the data center. That translates to some savings because electrical maintenance on those devices, and also thinking ahead next year what we're facing. We're moving from One Journal Square and moving into a smaller building. I think we all know that. And the less equipment we bring with us, it's going to work better for us to be able to fit in that building. So moving to the cloud, you know, moving to the cloud is the start of that.
So your concern is really will all the employees be able to use it?
That's what, right, that's what is our concern.
Will they use it? I mean, it's available, the training,
Right.
but are they actually taking advantage of the training?
I think it's up to the division managers, department managers.
So we'll need IT to come up with a description of what's available and how they can access it. At directors' meetings, we'll communicate to the department directors, who can then funnel it down to their division directors, who can then identify the staff that needs to get that appropriate training.
You should
So-
identify
But
what tools they need and so forth, and then who needs to be trained in those functions.
And we'll also be able to bring in Microsoft business partners or Microsoft staff themselves to actually do presentations for staff.
Right, like, things like that to, yeah.
Yeah, one last thing I'll mention is by entering back into this agreement, city employees can buy Microsoft software at a discount from Microsoft. Okay? Thank you. Thanks, folks.
How about Health and Human Services? You have two items? Paul Bellamboya and Margaret.
President, council members, I am here for Resolution X, a proposed contract with Liberty Humane Society for a term of X. As you may know, the city has had a long relationship with Liberty Humane. Last year, we significantly reduced the contract amount based on a renegotiation and evolved services. I am very happy to report that our past year has gone very well, so we are recommending a slight increase in the base rate to the contract, both to cover additional services that Liberty began providing voluntarily, as well as cost of living, and also a 3-year term. In addition, while this year we have used a variety of sources to provide nighttime and holiday coverage for animal control with varying degrees of success, Liberty has added and enhanced their animal control operations, so we're also proposing that they cover our nighttime calls and holiday calls for the full 3-year term of the contract, and they're doing that at a rate which is competitive with what we have been paying to vendors outside over the past year.
what is the yard outside could be completed, so the animals can run around in the yard?
So I'm not able to answer questions on behalf of Liberty Humane. I do know that they have a current architect's proposal, which is based mostly at achieving better management of dogs in their care inside the facility. They're planning on expanding their space. As you may or may not know, they've run into some construction problems outside due to land which was taken by easement for the Spectra pipelines, which changed their outdoor construction plans significantly. They have been pursuing, they have told me that they're looking at options for a dog run, or essentially an exercise area where individual dogs can roam more freely. But I know that they're eager to come before you and support this contract, and that's a question better addressed to their management.
I was on the board about 10 years ago,
Oh, okay.
so
No, we've been hearing about, look, I was very involved with the Humane Society for years. And this project of outside has been going on and on and on. It's got to get done for the animals' sake. And I know they had problems there a couple of years ago where the animals were confined and being not treated very well.
Councilman, let me just say that over the course of my experience with them over the past year and change, I'm in and out of there on an almost daily basis. In fact, I chased a dog all over Lincoln Park before coming here. In my opinion, they are a well-run facility, they're well-managed, and they are really on a path to continue to improve. They would do better to tell you about their plans, but as a department, we are very happy with their responsiveness and are happy to recommend this longer-term relationship.
They'll be coming on Wednesday?
I've been told that their board chair is going to be here to speak in favor of it, and obviously we're very happy with this current state of the relationship with them and the service they provide.
Any other questions?
Hearing none. Next item.
Thank you.
Is that it, Margaret?
So the other HHS item on tonight's agenda is 10J, which is authorizing the Department of Health and Human Services to apply for a grant through the United States Department of Agriculture to expand access to fresh fruits and vegetables for SNAP recipients. The Director Flanagan has requested a change be made to this. She, at the very last minute, realized that a local nonprofit, Wholesome Wave, was also looking to apply for this grant. So we're actually, right now, having it redrafted to reflect that they will be a sub-grantee if we are awarded this grant. And the other revision that's being made is that it's only going to be in the amount of $10,000. When the Department of Health and Human Services was working on the grant, initially, we were going to go for the full possible amount of $100,000, but in conjunction with Wholesome Wave, since they've been in touch with us, we decided we're going to go for a smaller amount, so it'll be $10,000. And if we are awarded that, then there will be a $10,000 match. And it'll be used exclusively at Jersey City farmers markets to provide matching dollars for SNAP recipients to use exclusively for fresh fruits and vegetables.
Can I ask?
Sure.
Participating is a local, like a fruit and vegetable spot, so how they have to do, what kind of things they need require to participate in the program? SNAP program?
Yes, the supplement, so that's the food stamp program, yeah. So anybody who's on food stamps would qualify for, they would have their food stamp dollars matched for every fruit or for every dollar they spend on fruit or vegetables at farmers markets.
Regular stores in the Jersey City, like the grocery stores or fruit and vegetable store, they automatically involve the program, as long as they accept the food stamp.
Right. I think because we decided to go for the smaller grant amount, we're going to be limiting it to farmers markets, but it's a multi-year program, so if we are able to get this initial grant, we're looking to expand it potentially to supermarkets if it's successful. We sort of wanted to pilot it and see how many people we could draw in, how much of an incentive this would be for people.
My concern is that farmers market, they open once a week. But if people want to buy fruit and vegetable Monday or Tuesday, because they only SNAP program accepted by farmers, they wait till Wednesday or Sunday. Is that fair to them?
Well, it's better, having your food stamp dollars matched is better than not. So, I think that the benefit here is it's better than nothing. I think it's important that we sort of go for it. And then if we do get it, there will be money as part of the grant for marketing, and then also helping farmers markets get the equipment that they need to accept food stamps, because right now they don't. So it'll be, right now, people who rely on SNAP to buy all of their groceries can't even shop at farmers markets because none of them accept food stamps. So this will not only give us money to help farmers markets provide that access for those people, but also give them double the money to spend on fresh produce. So it's a net benefit, I think.
You said you're only applying for 10,000?
Correct.
And you said that there'll be a sub-grantee, another nonprofit?
Correct.
So in actuality, some part of that 10,000 will go to that nonprofit?
Yeah, I haven't, I only had a couple minutes to review the budget. Director Flanagan wanted to be here tonight, but she, at the last minute, couldn't make it. So I don't have the numbers on me at the moment, but it's my understanding that all of the money would go to the sub-grantee. The city would have any services we would provide, I believe, would be in kind through our food access coordinator, Jillian Allen. Yeah, and then Director Flanagan said she got in touch with you earlier about this, so. Wholesome Wave, yeah.
According to Director Flanagan, we might be changing the resolution to say Wholesome Wave instead of the United States Department of Agriculture. Because Wholesome Wave was applying for the grant with Department of Agriculture, and then we were going to be partnering with Wholesome Wave.
So that's why the grant is small.
Right. They're applying for the 100,000, and we were going to do the 10,000.
And when it comes to farmer market,
They're throughout the city, though.
Yes, every single one, yeah, and they're all listed in
Right.
grant language, yep.
I don't understand. I mean, I don't understand why we're applying if we're gonna give it to a sub-grantee and they're already applying. I don't understand why the city is involved if it's not going to actually bring any kind of benefit whatsoever to the city. If this other organization is already applying, why are we applying for the 10,000 to give to them? I don't understand that.
Yeah, that, unfortunately, I'm not sure if we thought if we duplicated the application process, we might have more of a chance of getting it. I don't have an answer for you on that. I apologize.
The other organization.
Wholesome.
Yeah, they're about, healthy food access, so yeah, they're not exclusively farmers markets, but.
Maybe stronger with the SNAP program,
Yeah.
with the farmers market.
Councilperson Holman has it.
I just would like somebody to explain to me, give me the benefits to the city and to our constituents for applying for this grant if we're just gonna give it to someone else. I just need to understand why we're applying. Is it because we're applying so that we can have an application in to apply another time? Or, I don't understand. In other words, I don't see the reason that we're applying for this grant in the first place if we're gonna give the entire grant to a nonprofit. And if that's what we're gonna do, then why don't we give it to another nonprofit who is not applying for the 100,000? In other words, I'm confused, I don't understand.
I think this is a way of showing the Department of Agriculture that we support the program. It's our letter of support, or our commitment to the program. And I think Wholesome Wave is already a partner in another one of your grant programs.
Yeah, I don't think we could get around, yeah.
Can you just get us a comprehensive response for Councilperson Coleman and the rest of the council?
Right, yeah, because we already have that existing partnership with Wholesome Wave and we're doing a lot of the same work, I don't think that there was a way to get around duplicating this application process here. The confusion arose when both of us I don't think we realized until the last minute that we were both applying for the same thing, and that's why the resolution on the agenda doesn't reflect that Wholesome Wave is going to be partnering with us on this. So that's the change that we're making. It's really just changing the name, or just reflecting that the partnership exists and that they'll be co-facilitating the disbursement of the grant, assuming we even get it.
You can get the amended resolution and explanation, just detailed explanation as to what.
I would just like to know, I would like some kind of writing so this can be engraved in my mind.
Right.
What is the benefit of us applying for this grant and giving it to a nonprofit that's applying for the same grant? I don't understand the benefit. I don't understand what it's gonna bring. Is it gonna bring recognition? Is it, I mean, what is the reasoning that we're doing this whole application process to give them the money? I don't understand that.
Well, I think the logic behind it is that the city is actually able to provide the 10,000 matching dollars, whereas I don't know that Wholesome Wave has that capability. So in order to sort of maximize their ability to leverage the match that's required as a part of this grant, they're choosing to go through the city of Jersey City.
So we're gonna give them 10,000 of city money, and they're gonna apply for the grant, and we're gonna give them that too. Is that what you're saying?
Well, they're gonna apply, if they get the grant, they'll get $10,000 from the USDA. The city will provide a matching $10,000, and then in conjunction with us, through the farmers markets, we will help them implement the parameters of the grant.
But I think the grant needs governmental support, and that's why, the 10,000 commitment.
We're gonna match that. In other words, she's saying we're applying for the grant to give to them, and we're gonna match the $10,000, which means we're gonna give them $20,000. In other words, we're applying for a grant to give them $20,000. That, I just don't understand.
We can take $100,000 and administer the program ourselves, but we don't have the expertise. The grant would have a match requirement of 10,000, so it's still a total funding of 110,000. In this scenario, you have a nonprofit doing all the work. We don't have to.
And we just give them 10,000.
Yeah, the ultimate result is the program that gets administered. You either want that program or you don't, but that's ultimately what it's about. So, Wholesome Wave. So there will ultimately be probably some agreement with Wholesome Wave?
Yes.
That'll have to be authorized by the council, that will ratify the whole agreement and...
It's my understanding that that's already being drafted. Yes.
I never heard of it.
Never heard of them.
Yeah, that's why.
My understanding is that we already have a partnership with them. I don't know exactly what the nature of that is right now. This was just put on my plate at 4 o'clock today. Okay, right. I couldn't say. I can Google it. I'm just not sure. Yeah.
Just the amended resolution, some information about Wholesome Wave, and clarification about how and why we're applying instead of just Wholesome Wave doing it all themselves.
Right, yeah, the food access coordinator is already working on this in conjunction with Wholesome Wave, and I know the director's been in touch with the DA's office as well as the city clerk's office to make sure we have the language ASAP, hopefully by tomorrow morning, so. Thank you.
The grant is due today. There is.
Due today? So we'll be authorizing it Wednesday. Let's, Mr. Tolosa and the tax. You have two items?
You have more than that.
One? Two?
I
think he's got, he's got multiple.
Let's see what our item is.
Do we have him at Z7 for the Mod 4? Award to Microsystems.
Okay, Z7?
Good evening. Microsystem is a software company that has been handling our software needs on the tax assessment. We call it the state's program Mod 4, where all our data are inputted together with the adjustments. This request for the microsystem, basically, they already rendered the services before. It took place like at the beginning of the year when we filed our books January of 2014, and also when all the assessment notices for 2014 were sent out. So that's in addition to the software that Microsystem provides. They also generate the assessment notices for the year. I think that amounted to like 31,000, including the postage and every and their services.
Flows on, Z7. Hearing none. Your next item?
There is also one on the resolution 10-0.
That's the refund of the $471,000 and a reduction in tax assessments to settle tax appeals.
The bulk of the refund that we are requesting to authorize for an agreement has something to do with the Hudson Toyota, the properties adjacent to the public works facilities we have. The two lots basically consist of the dealership. They haven't filed any tax appeals before. I went back to 1996, and there was no appeal filed. So they were filing for 2011, 12, and 13. So this settlement is about multiple years that we are trying to settle. When we met with the property owner, the comparables that they were presenting was only a sale in Caucus, which is very small compared to the more than 8 acres we have at the Hudson Toyota. So since it's not a comparable sale, what I did, I used what you call the cost approach. If you look at the assessments that we have, since they never filed any appeal before, the square foot value that we have based on the assessments that is currently in the book right now is about like 452 per square foot to a lower of $406 per square foot. There's nothing in there that would compare this kind of value we have on the dealership. The values range from 220 to 300 per square foot. The only difference between with the Hudson Toyota is that it was renovated. It's a first-class kind of dealership. So when we dealt with the cost approach, we came up with like an amount like 367 per square foot, and they're coming. The opposite party was coming at 220. Ultimately, we settled at 298 per square foot. I think the 298 per square foot is reasonable enough to address the appeals we have for 3 years. And the rest of the appeals, of course, minimal compared to the bulk of the refunds if this is authorized to settle. Basically, the market value would be like 13 million, and the total amount that we will be crediting them is like, I think it is about 298 per square foot. That is higher than what they're offering at 220.
Just a question for you, not really specifically, but since you're doing multiple years, are homeowners also allowed to appeal multiple years?
Normally, the homeowners are all kind of disposed of in the county level. When you have like a bigger exposure in terms of the assessment, this type of appeals go to the tax court. That's where our experts are involved. Same is true with the taxpayers' experts.
Can they appeal at the county for multiple years?
All appeals at the county are all disposed of at the same year. Now the tax court, sometimes they can file an appeal 1 year after the other, but we're trying to eliminate multi-year kind of appeals like this. Sure.
See, I see that this chart, this one, the block number 21901, actually 585 Route 440. And the last year, if we see the settled assessment, mostly is like 11, 12, 13, 14, actual settled assessment is the same, but except this one, almost $400-some thousand is reduced. There any reason?
As I said, based on our assessed value, we are coming up with an equalized value or a fair market value of 20 million. If you compare that based either on the market and comparable sales we have on dealership, or in terms of the cost approach, we cannot come up with a 20 million value. Remember, our ratios have been coming down if on the basis of the years that never filed an appeal. We had a ratio before, like say in 96, like 84%. Now we are down to 31-24 for 2014 ratio. In other words, based on the market value, you take the appropriate ratio, and that would be the assessed value that goes into the book.
This one, 585 Route 440. That was almost a deduction of $500,000 compared to 2013.
Yeah, because the reason there was never an appeal filed before. Had they filed before, probably our exposure would be a little bit lower than what we have right now.
Hearing none?
Z26 and Z27.
Z26 and Z27.
Those are for the hiring of appraisers, Sean Cooney and Robert Bavasso, and Paul Beiser and Arthur Infante. That's to represent us in the tax court of New Jersey.
These two appraisal companies have been doing services to the city for quite a while. This year we sent out an RFQ, and 3 responded. Two of them, basically Bavasso, Cooney and Bavasso, and the Value Research. Based on their qualification, basically we chose, or we recommended to the administration of these two to represent us to the tax court. You may wonder why we need 2. There are cases when you have an appeal before the tax court where a certain appraiser may not be able to do it because of either a conflict of interest, or they have done service, appraisal service to them. That's why we had this 2 resolution to provide us the appraisal expertise on the appeals that are filed before the tax court.
Any people in Jersey City or Hudson County that could do this? I noticed one is Livingston, New Jersey, the other is Rutherford, which is Bergen County. There's nobody in Hudson County, nobody in Jersey City that can handle this?
Do the RFQ process. I asked him to do it, and it was a bit of a pain in the butt, but he did it, and these are the people who responded, unfortunately.
Of the RFQ that went out, only 3 responded.
Responded?
I'm not aware of anybody that has the Appraisal Institute kind of a designation, the MAI they call, which is basically the highest designation on this profession.
We are trying, by creating these systems where we actually go out and solicit responses, even when we don't have to try and get as many people as possible to respond, and as many Jersey City businesses to respond, because it is important, and we need more of that.
Yeah, you're right, Council. There's nobody available with that kind of designation in the county.
So we, the president from the land in Hudson County, but nobody from Hudson County. I scratch my head, but actually, our mayor has a very good SNS systems like Mayor's e-news. If you put in those kind of there, probably more people respond, instead of just our websites. It's like some public notice.
No, I'm very much aware, because when I attend some conferences or seminars, normally if you're from Hudson County or you're Jersey City, you're very much familiar who are the members of these organizations, this appraisal business or accreditation for appraisal licensing or assessing licensing, and I didn't meet anybody basically in the Hudson County who has that type of designation.
No other questions? Thank you, Mr. Tolosa. And we have, here with a late item, Governor McGreevy. Yes, that's the item.
Thank you.
Thanks. Start by saying, we're passing around a late item now. It came into my office late last week, and we were rushing through the review. In fact, Bob's office hasn't even had a chance to look at it yet, to put in some of the accounting information. But it's for an important grant for JSEP. And with that, Governor McGreevy's here to discuss what this will do for JSEP.
Yeah, thank you, and I apologize. It's all Joanne Monahan's fault, and she did her job instead of out shopping at, Targets. Things would have gone smoother.
In one moment. This will be 10Z36. Because I gave you earlier in the beginning. Okay. No denying.
From 30. From 30 to,
Right. Bob.
Oh, come down. Accidentally, of course.
Okay, Governor.
Thank you. First, I just, on a serious note, I just want to thank the council, and Councilman Rivera was kind enough to see that 2 hours ago, we had Jersey City Medical Center, the carpenters, and the laborers recognize approximately 56 young persons from Jersey City become laborers, carpenters, and EMT, emergency medical technicians. And Joe Scott was here, the president of the laborers was here, the president of the carpenters was here. And that only happens with the support of the council and the administration. So I want to thank, because what we're about is taking, and I think this was the vision of the council and the mayor, to make sure that these Jersey City buildings are built by Jersey City persons. Part of what we wanted to do is we have a grant here that frankly was brought to our attention by Freeholder O'Day and Tom DeGeese, the county executive, and Bill Gorhan. And basically, this is an application for Jersey City that's being supported by the county and hopefully by the council. And the county is providing us with $200,000, $50,000 over each of 4 years. And we're asking the council to do the same. And we will receive matching funds, so from the county and Jersey City and the federal government, the federal United States Department of Transportation will match the $200,000 from Jersey City, the $200,000 from the county, with $400,000 of their own, which will be $800,000. And the goal is to provide for training programs for young persons that have ex-offender status to work on public infrastructure projects, whether it's Newark Airport, Pulaski Skyway, the Tunnel Bayonne Bridge, et cetera. And this is a federal grant. It has to be submitted, I apologize, it has to be submitted by November 23rd. And the county has already approved their $200,000. December, I'm sorry, thanks, Diane. Excuse me, Councilwoman, December 23rd. And it's a United States Department of Transportation Innovative Public Transportation Workforce Development. It's called the Ladder of Opportunity Initiative, and it's specifically designed for formerly incarcerated persons to have jobs in public transportation industry. So there's a set aside in these federal projects for formerly incarcerated persons, but they obviously have to be trained. So this would be the training dollars working with those persons so they would be able to get into the building trades. And Pat Kelleher from the building trades was kind enough to write a letter of endorsement. So this is, I've recognized this is a significant sum of money, $50,000 each over 4 years, but that $50,000, $200,000 investment is going to bring back $600,000 to Jersey City kids. So. Okay.
People can go through the program for that kind of funding?
Yeah, again, it depends. So, I mean, bluntly, that the range would be anywhere between 80 upwards to close to 300, because we're working with both the county and the building trades, and it depends on which trades that the young people apply for. Some trades training is more intensive than others, like the programs that Councilman Rivera was at now. The laborers and the carpenters worked with us, both in, frankly, working with us with the standards for the kids that we had, but we shared some of the costs for the training. So that will be done on a case-by-case basis. And so we're working with the county, the building trades, and the VOTEC. Rich?
Yeah, I just, off the topic, how much pull do you have with the DOT?
With the state? with the state or the feds? Oh, I'm actually having a meeting, Commissioner Fox, tomorrow.
And I'll be honest with you, I find them rude. They could care less about the people of Jersey City with the state highway, with the fencing around Laidlaw and everything. And maybe tomorrow I'll speak to you, and Phil is involved with it. And we've been trying for weeks, and so have you, Greg, been involved. And I find the answers and the attitude towards Jersey City.
I think this is a very important topic, and Councilman knows I've been working with him on it, but we should take that conversation offline so we can move our agenda along.
Like yeah, no, I'll follow up. Well, this isn't, Councilman, this is a resolution, and we don't come back for you for the actual money until we get the commitment from the DOT. So we're applying for this, since we have to demonstrate a letter from the council president and the mayor, and a resolution from the council, and then we submit all that, and then DOT says we're going to award you $800,000 or not, and if they're not, we never come back to you. If they do, then we come back to you. So this is just a resolution authorizing this.
It has to be funded in the 15 budget.
Right.
So it's not. There is no account number yet.
There is no capital, there is no money.
It'll be included in the next year introduced budget.
How much is the amount that would be included?
It would be $200,000.
And you get paid $50,000 per year.
$50,000 per year, as the business administrator said.
So 50,000 in 2015.
Yep, it's only 50,000 in 2015, 50,000 16, 17, 18.
Can those funds come from CDBG or CSBG, or it has to come directly from the city?
Yeah. The federal government is pretty tight on that, Councilwoman, because those are federal funds, the CDBG, and they don't want to use federal funds to reimburse federal funds. They want to make sure, require the cities to contribute out of their tax base for this funding. So the whole goal is to maximize federal training dollars to show that the city's going to support, so the city becomes a partner with the federal government and the building trades to bring these young people into it. And Jersey City's ideally positioned because of the amount of construction. And, we're grappling with some of the city residential requirements, the PLA, some of the issues that we're all concerned about. So this will, on the back end, make sure that we have the training for these young persons. Thank you. And should I call you on the? All right. Oh, thanks. I haven't been at a council meeting in a long time, so I just getting started. Oh, and the Christmas concert, Saturday at 7 o'clock. The Lowe's. Santa's coming up, and you bring a toy, and the toys are going to go for all the kids in our reentry program. Yeah, so it's 7 o'clock. And not saying anything, Joanne Monahan requested for tickets because she's the queen of the legal department.
Tonight, and like one thing, the total
No, we should ask them why JSR don't take a second chance program over. That's what we should ask them.
Okay.
That was a good one.
Have made some progress on labor.
So it is moving forward.
Director Kears, the floor is yours.
Council President, members of the City Council, I'm here this evening to speak on Ordinance M-14-178, which is an extension of our sublease lease with Moises Self-Storage for storage space at 10 Senate Place.
First reading, 3M.
With the city now moving to occupy the storage facility down at Linden Avenue, we will be moving into that location once some modifications to the building are completed. Been working with architecture. We understand that we should be done by March 31st, which will carry us through from November 1st, where we currently are. This will extend us until March 31st, at which point we'll be moving into the new facility. This was funded by 2013 UASI funds. And right now, in addition to storing our emergency equipment, we also, for a good period of time, stored the furniture that was currently being moved into the West District and some other city locations. So storage space did not go unused, to say the least.
Police Academy, right.
Councilman Rivera. Where are you guys gonna fit on in Linden Avenue? And nobody fits there now. Where are you guys gonna go?
This is in the space station facility down there, Councilman, the storage building they have.
So are you guys comfortable there?
Yeah, we need about 10,000 square feet, and from what we're being told and meeting with the architecture, we need open space, which can be accomplished. It's good in some respects too, is because once we start putting our equipment in there, we'll be able to pay for some upgrades for security, cameras and things of that nature. That's based on the fact that it's Homeland Security equipment stored there.
We're trying to get that for the Police Academy, and I was a little surprised that they moved you, not you per se, but OEM down there. And they pushed everybody up to the second floor, I understand.
Well, they're using it currently for the active shooter training. I think that it's a total of about 38,000 square feet, so what we're looking to do is take the areas of the bay doors, level out that particular area to 10,000. We currently have about 14, almost 15,000 square feet. We can condense most of our equipment. And I was at a UASI board meeting this morning, and we were recently told by the state that they're no longer going to handle a commodities distribution warehouse, which is where all of the supplies for emergency events such as Hurricane Sandy is stored. So now they're looking for our UASI group to fund it. There's been no decision on it, so fortunately, we have plenty of water and rations and things of that nature in place. God forbid if we were to have an event that impact us, such as a Sandy type event. I don't know what, with the state not being in the commodities business anymore, to where that's going to lead the remaining cities.
On the new building, is there an emergency exit to come out to that building? Let's say there's a state of emergency, how do we get traffic?
As far as I know, Councilman, that's all being taken into consideration with the modifications. I'm really not too sure.
So there's too many departments moving in the building, and there's no room there. I agree with Councilman Rivera. There's no room there at all. They can't even put 3 fire trucks in there if they got to service them. They got to keep them outside. So there's absolutely no room in that building.
Director, this is a continuation of
This will take us to, we're anticipating the end of March, Mr. President. As I say, we owe them from November 1st. We would have been out of there, but, there was a late decision actually whether they were going to use this facility for this type of operation, or I know there was some discussion that they may have even been going to sell it, but we've been meeting with the architecture folks, and, we're being told that, we can get in there by the end of March. Yes, sir. Yes.
$7 a square feet. Now it's 5 months or 6 months extension, they charge $15 a square feet. Disgusting, really.
And the unfortunate part about it, initially when they thought we were going to extended for a year, they were looking at a 4% increase, but obviously, we're in a situation now where we have, quite a bit of equipment down there, a couple of $1 million worth of equipment. We need a place to keep it until we have another secure facility. Right.
Shane. And they looking for tax abatement last time?
There you go. I'm not happy with that.
Nor am I.
But when they ask us,
Yeah, neither am I.
they don't cooperate with us, really. Disgusting. Why?
No other questions?
10Y.
Next item?
10Y is a resolution awarding a contract to Motorola Communications, that's to perform the annual maintenance services.
10Y.
Basically, what this does is ensure that we have continuous 24-hour, 7-day-a-week coverage on our emergency communications through Motorola. Total contract is $348,642.84, and that's being funded through federal fiscal year of 2014 UASI.
Questions? Hearing none, next item.
Z. This is a proposal to award a contract to V.E. Ralph & Sons for the purchase of medical supplies and associated emergency decontamination equipment for use by our first responders. I believe with the Ebola crisis, the entire state was cut short on the availability of PPE, personal protection equipment. Unfortunately, with many of these companies, supply is in big demand, not only in the United States, but overseas. We come to find out that in some respects, the federal folks were sending a lot of this equipment overseas and not keeping it in planned here, so it really created a very big shortage. What this will do now is that we are on the waiting list. It's anticipated being in within the next couple of weeks. So if in fact we have another type of pandemic event, something like that nature, we'll have a sufficient amount of supply. This is $31,976.90, so it'll give us an adequate supply of equipment and decon materials. Z1. This will provide for 3 new male German Shepherd dogs for our canine unit. Cost associated is $19,500. They've completed, or in the process of completing, their first portion of the training, which I believe is completed in January, at which point they'll be sent to the State Police Academy for the rest of the canine training, be members of the Render Safe Task Force for bomb detection.
They're going to the police tomorrow, right?
Yes.
Can I make one suggestion? I hope we get people that live in the city that have their dogs, so we don't have cars traveling down to South Jersey, goes down to take them home.
Understood. It's a good point, though. We now have 9 patrol canine Render Safe dogs, and I believe there's also 1 narcotics trained dog.
Very good dogs.
This is the lady.
I want one.
10 total. 9 Render Safe.
Council?
It's a resolution authorizing the City of Jersey City to adopt the 2014 Hudson County All Hazard Mitigation Plan Update. It's 10Z34.
Hmm. 2009, 2010, Jersey City entered, along with the other 12 municipalities in Hudson County, under the auspices of the County Office of Emergency Management, to upgrade or update our hazard mitigation plan. Basically, what that does is identify all potential areas throughout the city, in this case the county, where potentially flood areas and other areas that are subject to either a natural or man-made disaster. What this plan does every few years, and obviously having had to go through Hurricane Sandy, there was some additional areas that's been identified, included in the plan now. You need a mitigation plan in place for any future federal FEMA mitigation money. So the fellow Paul Miller who run this operation, great job. He was a former captain of the state police, run the mitigation bureau. So this is the final phase. Once it's accepted by this body, and we'll be good to go.
Questions?
Thank you. Happy holidays to everybody, too.
So you got several people from planning and several items. Whoever's got the easiest one first.
This is agenda item 10H.
Resolution authorizing the City of Jersey City to enter into a cost reimbursement agreement with the North Jersey Transportation Planning Authority and the New Jersey Institute of Technology, which will enable Jersey City to receive funding for future task orders. What this resolution does is pay Naomi's salary, am I correct?
Yes, it does pay my salary, so I would love it if you guys approve the resolution. This is an annual grant that we get from the NJTPA, and it pays for transportation planning at the local level. It's $71,976.25. There is a 20% local match. And I just wanted to point out that in the fact sheet, it indicates that part of the budget was made up with a fringe benefits rate, but we actually don't have an official one, so that statement unfortunately isn't correct. I apologize for the error. Any questions?
The Hudson School?
I went to school with your son, yeah.
That's right, yeah, okay.
Abstain on that vote.
Jeff Weiner?
Good evening, everyone. I'm here for 3N. This is a developer agreement between the city and KRE. They're the developers doing the Journal Squared project. As part of the redevelopment plan, they were required to improve the Magnolia Street entry into the Journal Square station. That's where the Helix is. Their site plan approval includes a new landscaping plan and turning that into a second front entrance to the station. This is the developer agreement with KRE specifying the duties of the developer for maintenance. So I'm just here if there was any questions regarding that. It's fairly standard. It's similar to the developer agreement also with KRE for the Grove Street Plaza, which was done under a similar redevelopment plan and developer agreement.
Anyone else? Any questions? Do you have another item?
That was it for me.
That's it. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
I have items 3, F, G, H, and I. Okay, I'll just go in order. 3F is amendments to the land development ordinance as it pertains to site plan review thresholds. Without getting into too much legalese that you're probably not interested in, suffice it to say that there are certain categories of applications that we found did not fall under the jurisdiction of the planning or zoning board. We had inadvertently created a loophole where there was some conflict between who would review them. And this amendment, which subjects applications and redevelopment plans that are small but yet have variances, deviations, will be subject to planning board review. Without this amendment, they're kind of in a weird limbo where it's not sure who, if anybody, has jurisdiction over them.
Questions on 3F? Excited?
3G pertains to height exceptions for rooftop appurtenances. If you don't mind, I have one thing that I'd like to hand out to you all. I apologize. I had a meeting with Councilwoman Osborne yesterday, and I created a phrase was added in today that I will gladly email you. What this does is, when you get what I handed out, the stuff in green is what was just added today. The situation that we have is that with the increase in popularity of roof decks and our need to have them since we have limited park space, ADA requires that those roof decks be accessible to handicapped individuals. In order to do so, we need to accommodate the added height of an elevator bulkhead going to the roof. And what this does is it gives that added height so that they don't have to come asking us for variances or anything, so that they can, otherwise there's stairs that go to the roof, but without, then handicapped people can't get there. It doesn't meet ADA requirements. So this is all it's doing. The green language in what I handed out this evening is what I discussed yesterday with Councilwoman Osborne and some community representatives. It just tightens up the fact that this accommodation really is just for elevators and the mechanicals. This isn't to allow any extra rooms or any extra spaces up there.
I think concern-wise, just you guys had, maybe somebody would build a sunroof and try to sneak in an extra floor, just kind of.
Everyone's okay with this?
Yep.
Guys, everyone's okay?
Yeah, everybody's
Yep.
good with this one.
3H, I had sent a small amendment over by email last week. Did they get that? Okay. This is an amendment to the Tidewater Basin redevelopment plan. It was primarily a response to the fact at the time of the last amendment, Councilwoman Osborne had asked that we remove the allowance. It was really pretty standard language that nightclubs.
12, 10, 14 on it.
Yes, correct.
That, they all have the correct item.
Councilwoman Osborne had originally asked that the language listing permitted uses, including nightclubs, that nightclubs be stricken. I have taken that out. Over the course of time when we were doing that, it became apparent that athletic facilities were not permitted in the zone, which is silly because the St. Peter's football field storage room and lockers and stuff is actually in that zone. And so we needed to add that as a permitted use so that they can have the one they currently use, and actually they are hoping to replace that with a more modern facility in sometime down the road. So that's the changes that we're proposing. Also some basic housekeeping items, but nothing really substantial.
All right. Fail to say the state champion said he was first.
Yeah, so give them what they need. Last but not least is letter I. It's amendments to the Ocean Bayview redevelopment plan. These are amendments that are actually just administrative changes that should have been done some time ago. For those of you who remember, we had made some changes to the glossary, to the block and lot numbers when those were revised by the city. And at that time, we were amending a lot of redevelopment plans to just bring them up to date. Somehow this one didn't get updated. The changes that are in here are all a response to that, to bringing the legal language up to date, to bringing the block and lot numbers up to date, and the maps in the back, which were previously all but illegible, have now been made pretty and legible.
Councilperson Coleman? Anything?
That's it.
That's it?
Yep. Thank you.
I have Diana from my office here.
Oh, okay.
Is there a resolution here as well, or?
Oh.
There is one resolution, I'll find it for you. It's early. It's a resolution authorizing the planning board to conduct a preliminary investigation of conditions of Ocean Avenue Study South area for determination of as an area in need of redevelopment or rehabilitation.
So this is just a study authorization. This is the first step in doing a redevelopment plan study. We met with Councilman Kajewski and some of the residents of Greenville to discuss the boundaries. This is what we came up with and looking to do a study and hopefully come back later with a redevelopment plan for Ocean Avenue. Sure. Any questions? All right. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Diana.
Which one? For the parking?
Which one?
It's terminating the 5-year?
What are you talking about?
No, it's ordinance, it should be, here.
L.
It's L?
3L. 3L.
This is an ordinance terminating a tax abatement that was just awarded to 129 Brunswick, a 5-year. It was on second reading on November 26th. Our 5-year ordinance prohibits the applicant from commencing construction before they receive final approval and they sign their tax agreement. In this case, due to the efforts of our tax collector, who regularly reviews the reports made by our construction officials, she noted that this particular project had received its construction permits and had passed inspection in between the first and second reading, which rendered them ineligible for a tax abatement. The applicant failed to notify their attorney, did not notify the law department or the tax collector, and had it not been for the tax collector's diligent enforcement actions, this might not have been detected. But since it was, we confronted the applicant, who admitted he had started construction, and accordingly, we are presenting you with a termination. Do we what?
For the tax abatement?
It's a non-refundable.
Because we started. I just want to make sure it's non-refundable. Okay, it's non-refundable, right?
It's non-refundable, right. Right. Okay. That was easy. Now we have a 20-year, P, 1234 Sudan.
P. 3P.
Sudan. We don't know how to say. This is an application for a 20-year tax abatement on a market residential project, the first of its kind in this neighborhood, which is commonly referred to as a catalyst project, which it's intended to jumpstart the neighborhood. And the applicant is here and can speak to the merits of the application, but I'm here to discuss the impact analysis and some of the other questions that you may have. But you'll see from the photographs that this is truly a blighted vacant building. This is what tax abatements are intended for, is to transform a blighted area into something that's functional and adds to the neighborhood. So I will, yeah.
Yeah, very quickly, a very large agenda tonight. Jeffrey did a great job of summarizing where we are, but
As they say, a picture is worth 1,000 words. This is, oh, my apologies, Donald Tepe, Scrincy Hollenbeck, on behalf of the applicant. These are pictures that depict what the property originally looked like. It's a boarded up, and in fact, it's indicative of the entire neighborhood. Graffiti ridden, boarded up, unoccupied. And what we have proposed and approved by the planning board, and we have not started construction on, is, I think what you will agree is a substantially improved addition to the neighborhood. We're very proud of the project, and I do believe as well that this is a catalyst project, and it will change the character of the neighborhood, encourage other developers to come into the area and invest in homes.
You should be very proud of that project. That area right there needs something like this. You know, and I'm sure that the residents that live in that area will complain a lot on how the area looks on a daily basis. I think they're gonna appreciate this a lot. I'm looking forward for this to go up. I'm very happy with this project. Thanks.
Questions, any other comments?
Yeah, one concern is that,
You know, when you see the fiscal impact costs, what they pay annual service charge and the municipal cost, service costs, the city will lose is like around $50,000 a year, correct?
No, that's not correct. The way the impact analysis looks, there's a slight deficit in the analysis, but it doesn't inure to a financial loss to the city. The city still is going to receive a service charge, and that service charge, if you look at your chart, if you pull it up, if you look at the city's service charge and the portion of cost the city actually pays for, remembering that the city doesn't pay for schools and such, it's much closer. And
now the city's getting zero.
And then right now the city's getting zero on that property. That's right.
And there's a modified,
Right. That was the chart.
When you look at it that way, but, you know, we, the land credit, land tax credit, almost $720,000 over
20 years. It tells us that, yes, we got a city of Jersey revenue actually is not what, and the, you know, say really. That is the problem. So when I analyze that, instead of 20 years, if it's 15 years or 10 years, at least the city and the developer side, some make we got break-even point. You know what I'm saying? But the revenue-wise, so I'm more feel comfortable 10 years. Yes, your project is a beautiful location about it. You know, that area needed. So like a developer like you stand up to try to improve that area. I support you 100%. But only we concern is that revenue-wise, you know, they have some issue. You know, so because we give the land tax credit.
So, Councilman, I remind you that the way the abatement statute works, the back end of the pilot actually has a phase-up period. So what you're seeing is not really a reflection of the revenue. So the city does actually ramp up its income that last piece of the abatement, which will result probably on a 20-year, the last 10 years, or even earlier, really. Last, 12 years we ramp up?
No.
Yeah.
Every year. If we are successful in creating a new beginning for this neighborhood, and lots of other developers come in, and that translates into higher rents for us, the city recaptures those higher monies. It's very difficult in these formulas to predict what the benefit or detriment is to the city. It's all guesswork. And it also depends on what ad valorem taxes were, because we are promising in the last years to pay at least 80% of what ad valorem taxes would be. And right now, ad valorem taxes are nothing because of the condition of the property. But again, ad valorem taxes could rise for this neighborhood, and we hope it does. We hope the city gets their revenue on the next project, because right now, the city's not getting any revenue from this neighborhood at all.
Councilperson Coleman? I would also like to add that there are homeowners that live a little bit up from that, who have been living in that foolishness for I don't know how long. This is gonna raise the property value for the other homeowners that live in that area, and this is also gonna bridge the gap from downtown Jersey City to uptown Jersey City, to try to unite and make one Jersey City, which is what our goal was, and I think that this is a fantastic project to do that. I thank you guys for all the work that you've put in so far.
Yeah, and I would just add, if you look at your chart, when it does the comparison, the pilot revenue is greater than the conventional tax revenue, but it's certainly greater than the revenue that you're getting now. So the real choice here is between an improved site with increased revenue or this with about $14,000 a year with a deteriorated neighborhood.
Page 2. Financial page 2A, number 2. The affordable housing, the contribution, they mentioned that, and if you read that, as required by the ordinance, but actually ordinance not mentioned to schedule for payment to affordable trusting fund. Actually, on the contract section 4.6, page 11, they say that actually schedule for payment to affordable trusting fund. So I'd like to change the word as required by the, not ordinance, by the, financial agreement to section 4.6. They should be corrected.
Okay, I'm not sure that that's really necessary because this schedule is also set by ordinance. So we have a separate ordinance that talks about the affordable housing. Yeah.
Schedule for pay.
And that ordinance that talks about the affordable housing contribution imposes this schedule, which never changes. So it's in the financial agreement. It reflects that overarching ordinance. We typically don't repeat it in the ordinance awarding the abatement because we feel it's not necessary.
If you provide the ordinance numbers at least, I'm not asking these kind of questions, you know what I'm saying? But you say, when you say by the ordinance, I thought to this ordinance, you know what I'm saying? That's my concern.
Make that change going forward. Yeah, sure.
Right.
It's really great, Councilperson Coleman, developers, everyone who's at the table. And just to be really clear, this doesn't happen. Like oftentimes, projects come to us and people say this project won't happen without a tax abatement. People are a little leery about whether that's a real suggestion, but this project does not happen without a tax abatement. Yeah, and if people had to take that kind of risk, they just wouldn't do it, and they haven't done it. So this is definitely, as you said, an area that needs it. And, yeah.
Excuse me, just make sure I get my voice. Thank you. I appreciate you. I'd like all of that if I could have it. I'd like everything, yes. No, that's ours already. You can bring them right over here and I'll get them out. Thank you, Pam.
From the top, Council President?
From
From the top, sir? All right. Please leave quietly. Please leave.
No.
Someone else? They're on the second read. Second read.
Let's go from the top.
All right, 3A, City Ordinance 14-166, authorizing the appropriation of $214,000, $285, proceeds of obligations not needed for their original purposes in order to provide for various capital improvements in and by the City of Jersey City and the County of Hudson, New Jersey. 3B, City Ordinance 14-167, an ordinance authorizing the City of Jersey City to accept title and ownership of all real property and all personal property owned by the Jersey City Parking Authority, and to assume all leases by the Jersey City Parking Authority. 3C, City Ordinance 14-168. It's an ordinance supplementing Chapter 332, Vehicles and Traffic. Article 3, Parking, Standing, and Stopping of the Jersey City Code, amending Section 332-24, no parking certain hours, designating 25 feet in front of 51 Sherman Place as no parking Monday through Friday except holidays, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. 3D is City Ordinance 14-169, an ordinance supplementing Chapter 332, Vehicles and Traffic, Article 3, Parking, Standing, and Stopping, and Article 9, Parking for the Disabled. designating a reserved parking space at 194 Neptune Avenue, 28 Sherman Place, 140 Wegman Parkway, and amending the reserved parking space at 58 Gray Street, 223 Wegman Parkway, 194 Neptune Avenue, and repeal the reserved parking space at 138 Wegman Parkway.
You know, can I just add something? This whole city's becoming one big handicap parking area. You go down some streets, people are complaining, and I think that there should be a review maybe every year or every 2 years with a doctor's note saying that the people who have these things, these signs, still need them.
Rich, you're on the board.
You're on the committee?
You on the
Yeah,
committee?
well, yeah.
So when you go to the committee,
The thing
it can be
is, we're gonna
discussed.
need an ordinance to do that.
Well, you have to discuss it with the committee
All
first.
right. Because I had a woman complaining to me down in Greenville, there's one street that almost every other house is handicap parking. They can't park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's on it.
He's on.
I haven't been notified of any meetings though, but
Yes, you have, Rich.
one meeting I was in.
Okay, you know,
He doesn't
what I
read his email,
recommend,
but
Rich,
he should
is
have told
follow
you.
up with I guess Pat Logan for now, and the chair of the committee.
3E.
Or they can send a representative.
14170, an ordinance amending the traffic code, amending angle parking of the Jersey City Code, designating 30-degree angle parking on the north side of First Street, Marin Boulevard to Provo Street, back-in parking only.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
It's supposed to get changed.
Yeah, I don't know. We've had like about 45 emails about this today, most of them driven by me. So I at least understand it now, but I don't know that everyone's in agreement. We might request this get pulled if we can't come to a resolution, or maybe some slight wording changes.
Because we must park on both sides of the street. To remain.
Yeah, if we can get parking on both sides of the street, it's kind of a good idea. But there's some potential concerns with doing it.
But
because
the back-in
if the
parking
back-in parking.
doesn't work for the electrical charging stations.
Yeah.
I mean,
Can I request we pull it?
I think if instead of rushing it, if you want more time, let's just pull it. Yeah.
Why don't we
Guys,
make a
work it out.
decision Wednesday? We'll
Yeah,
have
we
staff
wanna
deal with
close
it
it out
tomorrow.
so
Okay.
There may not be a means of.
All right. Well, so we'll see. We'll see. All right.
But otherwise, yes, let's pull it.
Okay.
Maybe.
Maybe, let's have it.
All
Decide
right,
Wednesday.
F, G, H were spoken about earlier. I is an ordinance of the municipal council adopting amendments to the Ocean Bayview redevelopment plan. We did that as well.
Done.
J, authorizing the acquisition of Block 214, lots 3 and 4, and Block 213, lots 1 and 3 from Manila Avenue LLC.
Can I ask a question on this? Is this the parking lot where the police park? The two parking lots?
It's fire headquarters, the baseball field, the Lily Field. It's property that we own. We're taking ownership of it now.
Taking ownership, and what's the reason for it? They're gonna go on this too?
There are no plans to do anything right now. We're just exercising, the rights within the original mortgage agreement.
Who's going around, they want to sell the firehouse and tear down the whole corner there, so.
I heard that.
7th Street, Marin Boulevard.
You talking about fire headquarters?
Yes.
Yeah, I think this is just really about exercising our rights under the contract.
Well, here we go again. The city takes it over. I was at the meeting with the police department, fire department. I told them, before they sell that property, build the other precinct and have parking before they do anything.
Council, the plan would be if there's in the future to do something with the East District and fire headquarters, or the fire base have a joint public safety facility. Nothing will be done until that plan is executed, if something happens in the future.
We heard this with Erie Street, we heard it with a lot of things going on, and.
That only was the truth.
Yeah, and nothing ever happens.
J, authorizing the imposition of a deed notice on property known by the city of Jersey City as Mary Benson Park. L, rescinding ordinance 14151 and terminating the 5-year tag. We talked about that with Diane Jeffrey.
Did M? Did M?
We did M with Mr. Kears. N,
Done. We did that already.
we did. O, is there a An ordinance authorizing the execution of an emergency access agreement between Journal Square Associates and the Port Authority Trans Hudson Corporation, permitting emergency vehicles of the City of Jersey City to travel across property owned by by JSA and PATH.
But my only concern,
Yeah, that's a simple one. It's just allowing, we have to, for our fire trucks to be able to turn, they need actual extra space that's not technically part of the public right of way. So they're just allowing us to be able to go on their property and turn the fire trucks around should we ever need to.
what is actually our problem with them?
We're gonna some agenda 3A, like Apple?
Sorry, you want 3A?
Yeah, because they were finished this, let's make sure that, yeah. That, what do they call that, ice resurfacer?
So there are some old capital accounts where the projects are complete, and there's a balance of funds in those accounts. So what we're asking is the council to reappropriate those balances to another project. It was actually something that came up in the, I believe in the corrective action plan that the council adopted a few months back, which identified some older accounts. So with those funds, we are asking to buy a new Zamboni machine for the Persian Field rink.
How urgent is that?
Well, the problem, the rink Zamboni is currently about 20 years old.
There was a fire last year, I believe.
Yeah, the one of the head gaskets blew a couple weeks ago, so they're waiting for a part to come in from Boston. And by the time that Zamboni is ordered and delivered, you're looking at next September, October. So the Zamboni will take about 6 to 9 months for delivery for next season.
The reason is that,
And the Zamboni itself is not $200,000. There'll be other pool of money left over for other municipal vehicles that are needed as determined over the next few months.
When I heard that the one major complaint in the police officer, they complained the police patrol car has had to replace as soon as possible, most of it is a problem. So now the funding from the police, ESU vehicle and the cargo vans, trim the ice rink, you know what I'm saying, just resurfaces, so I was scratching my head
Well,
really.
we can't buy cars with capital money. That's not a permissible item.
but we should even bond.
To buy.
Not for cars.
SUV.
Right, there's a difference there. We just can't buy regular sedan cars with capital money. SUVs are a little bit of a gray area the state permits, and other, vans are permitted. The ESU wagon that was suggested there is,
Anyway, long story short, there is a procurement process the police can follow. When they need vehicles, they follow it often. There's also grant monies available. The two aren't, the two aren't connected. And if they want to have a conversation about police cars, they should do that, and that's something that we could talk about.
police cars have to be funded out of their own budget.
Yeah.
So when they submit their 2015 budget requests, maybe there'll be a request for cars.
Taking $1 million from them on one of these papers here, you're taking $1 million from their budget?
Not just in 2014.
Okay, but every year you're always taking from the police, giving to the fire department, giving to other departments. I mean, come on.
The year is over.
Yeah, well, they should spend it, right, Franny? Come on, you know.
But you're taking, this is the end of the year, and this is, access dollars and stuff.
Resolution.
Okay.
It's housekeeping, yes.
Housekeeping, normal accounting.
Okay, any questions on second reading ordinances?
3P already.
Folks, 4A is going to be withdrawn from the agenda.
The second reading is a 4G.
4A is being withdrawn.
4G.
Can we withdraw?
4G.
Administration can
Where
withdraw.
was table?
4G?
No,
I didn't know anything.
You have a question about 4G, Councilman, is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, it's a withdrawal or the table?
The 4A is being withdrawn.
4A.
Okay, how about 4G, second reading?
Still moving forward.
We got the numbers today. David Donnelly, I plugged them into a spreadsheet and did a 10-year value, and I'm happy to share it with the council if you guys want to know. I didn't do time value of money, but,
About 4G?
yeah, I can send it
To
to
submit
everybody.
revenue things, you know?
Yeah, I can send it to everybody, like, the assumption, so,
Actually, the city council asked us a plan for, any relocation of parking, for the city employees also. And I got the 3:30 this afternoon, it's a plan B. This is not the
No, I mean, that was just Dave's quick analysis on what the, proposed issues with the with the parking. I mean, the parking's a very complex and, there's no short-term solution.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't mind, I'll just give, because I know what you're looking for, because it was what I was looking for, and it wasn't exactly what we got, so I just built it myself. So, you get present value.
Yes, so what we do,
1.1.
instead to do the, can't you email to us, because
Yeah.
now, yeah.
One at a time.
Yeah.
But the net benefit over 10 years, not discounted, right? So not time value money, but just the net amount. Best case scenario, if we end up negotiating out parking over 10 years, is $2.2 million. If we have to continue to pay parking after 18 months, if we have to, and let's say that we pay the same rate we pay today, the net benefit would be 1.78 million, 1.8 million basically. If, let's say that not only do we have to start paying parking after 18 months, but like, let's say costs increase 5% every year, like the worst case scenario, I think, the net benefit would be 1.6. So in all cases, it's net benefit. And I say that we need to start recognizing revenue until year 4 of increased taxes, because it takes a couple years to build it. So I think it's a pretty reasonable analysis, but you could stick whatever numbers you want in there. It's pretty hard to make it not work.
Candice, I think you missed one point.
No?
If we talk about the numbers and the numbers, maybe you're right. But municipal government is not just talk about the numbers. We provide a service. If that parking lot more utilized, able to provide the resident area, you cannot calculate by numbers, the dollar amount. You have to understand, if we just talk about what they call the numbers, then this government should not exist. Because the way what we pay, ask any taxpayer in Jersey City, we got municipal service, what we pay for, everybody questioning. That was a major problem. Well, we didn't get the municipal service, we not pay for, what we pay for we not get enough. So those kind of issues is not looked at as a fact by the numbers. As a totally wrong approach that as a government. It's like a behind the parking lot Burger King. In Central Avenue, their land is almost 150 cars parking space. If we talk about just dollar amount, they should build some kind of condos, a high-rise building. But
It's a terrible use of an asset.
that's
35
provide the
spaces there.
service what the people's looking
I
for.
agree. Not only that, the people in the community support it. I've sent emails out. I don't know why I'm getting all of the emails, because I'm sending them to you. I'm forwarding the emails to the other council. I've gotten about 10 or 15 people that live close there that are supporting that project, and even some people that work in the courthouse is supporting the project. So I don't understand.
I guess
They
they
want,
must
they
walk to
want,
work.
the community wants the project there so that it brings safety, and it brings other residents, and it brings a better community. That's what they want. Even the people who park there now, they're happy with getting 18 months free. They're happy with that. So in that period of time, those 18 months, they haven't even thought about a plan B. Their plan B is we pay, or we find a way to park like everybody else. So they're happy with that.
Yeah, but you know why is that? The people you get the email they're supporting, and the email I get from the people is not happy with that. So listen, the fact is very clear. If say, in the parking space, in Jersey City, I heard the number one complaint is parking and crime parking. I'm really getting tired to hear that. But if you limited the parking space in Jersey City, when I look at it, it's committed crime in Jersey City. So parking is the number one issue. And we have a parking spaces ready, and if this unit to build somewhere parking garage or parking facility in the building, I understandable. But this project without parking space whatsoever, and they just build the building itself. And if we want City of Jersey space in the parking space, we never gonna be recovering that area. Especially Jonas carries a need of, in the old with that development, parking is the number one issue, you believe or not. Maybe, I don't know what kind of people you speak with there, but when I speak average people in that area in Jersey City, the parking is number one issue. And in the future, if Jersey City, want to try to get some parking space, 35 space in that area, cost will be far more than $1.14 million. Trust me.
I did the math on it.
Yes, I know.
For out 10, I did it out 10
Listen,
years.
that parking lot, JCRA,
matter.
JCRA gonna sell that to develop for $1.14 million. In the future.
Councilman.
Cost far more than $1.14 million. But it's okay.
Your
We
point
have
is
all
made.
different opinion. So my concern is that don't just look at by service by numbers, you know what I'm saying?
But that's what you always do. We're looking at it by the numbers like you do.
As long as he gets to know different than us.
Well taken.
El Presidente.
Moving on.
Yes, sir.
To the east side, come on.
Where are we now?
We are moving to resolutions.
Second reading, right?
No,
We're done. Okay,
resolutions.
good. Second reading done.
Resolutions 10A is authorizing calendar year 2014 appropriation transfers.
Rod's done there.
B is a resolution authorizing the insertion of special items of revenues. We got more grants into our budget. C is canceling reserves in the capital fund. D, E, and F are reappointments of judges to the municipal court, Kelly Austin, Cynthia D. Jackson, and Richard Nito. G is approving the appointment of municipal prosecutors for the municipal court to serve for terms of 1 year. H we did earlier with Naomi Sue. I is a grant application concerning renewable energy storage to the New Jersey Department of Public Utilities. We did J earlier with Miss DeVico. K is consenting to the release of a bond of K. Hovnanian at Jersey City for performance and surety bonds for Society Hill, Drawers Point. L,
Okay, and then that's, L, till L.
L, we did already. M,
Okay, now, can I have a question? 10A?
10A.
Yes, page by page, that's what I tried to do.
I didn't get
Yeah,
it.
no, A, like apple.
You missed that train somewhere.
No, it's not the restraint. Let it finish the one page, and we ask, we go next page. I tried to, talk about 10A.
10A.
Yes. Public safety fire department, the $900,000, why there reason to increase that much?
So here's what's happening, the safer grant reimbursement hasn't come in yet, so therefore we can't end the year with a negative number in the salary and wage account. There'll be a significant audit finding, so we have to make sure the account is funded by December 31st. So the police department has a little bit of excess, so we're transferring it over to the fire to cover the overall salary and wage numbers. We just can't end numbers in negatives.
Okay, so when we get the grants.
So it'll be posted back, and then that'll become surplus in the following year's budget. Yes, sir.
36 years with the police department, so the same story, always taking money from the police department, giving it to here and there. And, wait a minute, Bob, it's wrong. There's a lot of stuff that has to be done within the precincts.
Well, Councilman, let me just say that when we adopted the budget, we made the amendment, we had to increase the police department's budget because they overspent on overtime. Now we've had new leadership, and so they've made some changes, and they've gotten control of the overtime. Therefore, we overfunded them because we thought the trend was gonna continue. Because the trend didn't continue, therefore they have $1 million surplus. Well, not a surplus, but a money they didn't spend.
We increased by like 2-point-something million to now.
Right.
we increased by 1 million.
Can I ask another one? Insurance will be part of the, when I see the 2014, I think we allocated $600,000. When I see the budget.
Insurance, no, that is more of the first one, you talk about the 885,000?
Yeah.
That is,
At the insurance all department,
right, that is the account that pays all of our liability insurances, workers' comp. If the council recalls, you made a significant settlement this year that wasn't factored in when you compared the initial budget last January. I think it was the $600,000 payment.
Yeah, 2014.
Right.
We allocated $600,000.
Right, for the slip and fall in the front stairs, I believe. Right.
So it's going to be 1.4 total?
No, it was probably about 6.8. I think the initial budget was $6 million. This pays all the workers' comp claims as well, you know, the widow benefits, widow's benefits for, yeah, there's all, you know, all the liability and property and casualty insurance claims.
And also HS Director's Office, 94,000. Now, why they hired a new person in the?
They've had a couple of new staff members transferred over there and added to their budget.
Health and Human Services?
Yes.
Yeah.
They do a lot of work, they do a lot of good work. To be perfectly honest. They did a lot of hard work.
10M?
Yes, where we leave off?
M.
M.
Okay, I got no question.
M&N's agreement. M&N authorized the city risk manager to issue letters of insurance so that we can use non-public facilities for the Department of Recreation and Department of Fire. We did O earlier. P authorizes the discharge of mortgage and release of affordability restrictions affecting block, let's just say 418, 420 Halliday Street. Q and R authorize the business administrator to execute discharges of mortgages at 11 Eastern Parkway and 344 Palisade Avenue. S authorizes S is a resolution of the council authorizing the business administrator to execute a discharge of mortgage at 102 Cambridge Development LLC and substitute individual mortgages and notes for 11 affordable housing units affecting property known as 102 Cambridge Avenue. T is a resolution consenting to the sale of 158 Martin Luther King Drive by Improvement Investor Group Incorporated to Martin Luther King Drive 158 LLC. That was Sue Deshmeta.
1983. I remember that.
Sue U is a resolution authorizing the use of competitive contracting for the procurement of insurance service and insurance consulting service. V, rejecting all bids on the contract known as Angel Ramos Park renovation. W, authorizing the First Amendment to the Solar Power Energy Services Agreement.
Now, I have a question to 10U. See, this is, I think, a major concern. I think actually this is one of the issues, not only Jersey City, most of municipal government is stepped in New Jersey. Now, consulting service, we we pay employee group health almost $71 million a year. If a consulting company make 1% of the commission, probably they make $710,000.
We're going to go to a flat fee-based structure moving forward, not a commission-based, so.
That's the whole point of
The whole so we will budget, we will pay the vendor, not the broker.
Yeah, how much is will be?
Well, it's gonna be competitively contract, based on what their bids are. So we'll know when these bids come through.
So this is what? Is it gonna be decided based on RFP or RFQ? What is it?
There'll be an RFP issued, probably Thursday after the council issues.
RFP, right?
RFP, so it'll be competitively contracted. There'll be a proposal submitted, there'll be a committee that reviews them, there'll be a scoring matrix.
Great.
The flat fee will be one of the components.
Yes.
As well as some other scoring components.
Okay, now, another question is that when you set the committee, who actually belong to the committee? I don't want you just committee itself belong to admission side, the city council should be involved too, so we can see the check and balance.
I'm okay with adding a council member to the committee.
Can I get a join then?
Well, listen, I think that's a whole different issue as to what the committee looks like, and if there is going to be a council member on it, it's up to the council to send a rep for us to pick.
The council should be, because it's, when you set up the oversight committee for that, processing, council members should be involved then, at least to one or two.
I think, Council President, aren't you already involved? In other words, don't you review all of this stuff and review all of those things before these things come before us?
No.
Oh, not at the decision?
Not enough process. The process could take a couple of weeks. Bringing in the vendors for proposals and interviews.
Because I know the committee do a fair make decision for the benefit of the Jersey City, but also when you talk about transparency, should be council members, should be one or two should be involved at the committee.
Councilperson.
I I just want to say thank you, because I think too often in these meetings, we are kind of complaining about this, that, or the other. I specifically asked for this a year ago, and you didn't forget, and you did it, and wow, like, that's impressive, so thanks.
Yeah, we already put our current broker on notice that their contract is terminated, and, yeah, so. They can bid on it.
We're already up to Z2, authorizing the renewal of a contract with Access Control Technologies for security maintenance for various buildings. Z3, a contract with Starlight Electric for sports lighting and scoreboard maintenance. Z4, statewide striping corp for the Jersey City School crossing safety improvements. We did Z5.
But, yeah, okay. G5 we do G3, right? But now,
Z6.
G3 we don't, right?
Which one? Which one?
Z4.
Z4.
Striping, statewide striping.
Judgment rights. I see it in all those PS5, 12, 7. But they're all missing the public screen, the height area, PS8, 28, 7, you know, all those is missing. Why? There every reason? And we definitely really get it.
Coincides with repaving, sir.
Repaving is good.
I know that there are, just to answer that question, I know that there are missing ones outside PS5. Like, there are none at all, like no crosswalks. So I don't know if this is a result of me calling one of those in. I don't know.
But I mean, this area is really bad too.
Yeah.
That's why it's
Yeah,
why
I mean, I don't know. I was just saying, I don't know why.
These schools were listed in the grant application, so when the grant was coming before council, we should have said something back then.
No, I think I say that.
Did you? Okay.
We'll pass your question along. I don't really know anything about this, but we'll pass your question along.
I'll speak to Juan.
We did Z5. Z6 is award a contract to Hudson Cinemas for renting movie theaters for our seniors. Z7, we did with the tax assessor. Z8, extension of a contract with U.S. Security Services for security guard services for various locations.
This will be very short because the proposals are in, the committee's reviewing the proposals for a new security contract, so you should get that award in January.
Z9, authorizing the award of contract to P&A Administrative Services to administer flexible spending account, Cobra and retiring billing. Z10, resolution authorizing contract with Elite Underwriting Services to provide stopgap insurance for employees and retirees.
This is the first time we have that?
No,
we always
no.
We already said that.
We are now changing vendors because we got a lower quote this year.
Z11 and Z12, authorized contracts for dental services. Horizon Dental Choice for the closed dental insurance plan, and Horizon Dental Insurance Services of New Jersey for the open plan. Z13, we're hiring our auditor, Donahue, Duranda, and Doria, CPAs, to conduct our audit for fiscal year 2014.
Can I answer this one? Sure. Actually, if we see that, you know, this is a closed one, right? So now, if we see the price quotation by Horizon and Delta, it's a price of pretty different.
Let me explain something here.
Which one are we talking about?
You're talking about the dental resolutions. So one is a little bit higher than what we're, the low bidder is not what we're recommending, correct? So here's what happens. Horizon offers us greater discounts on our medical side if we award them the dental. Those additional discounts offset the increase that you see on the dental side. So when you take the dental and the medical services together, we are saving the taxpayers money as opposed to going to Delta Dental and then the Horizon Medical, because then we don't get the savings on the medical side, and the Delta Dental, you know, while a little bit cheaper than on the dental side, the overall cost for the two services is better if we do everything on the Horizon side.
How much is dollar-wise?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question, because I was supposed to have a spreadsheet from our broker on that today. Hopefully I have it first thing in the morning. I will share with all the council members to see how the numbers are realistic.
Z14, renewing our contract with NW Financial Group to provide financial advisory services. Z15, an award of professional engineering contract with Keller and Kilpatrick for engineering services for Manhattan Avenue streetscape improvements.
Can I have some information, more detailed information for this one? The Manhattan Avenue, this is Z15, Avenue Streetscape Improvement Project. Z15, yeah.
What information are you looking for?
Some more detailed information, because actually when I see that, I never heard that. This is the first time actually I see. So if you can provide it from your...
Sure, Councilman. There was a little bit more information at the agenda meeting. We'll get more copies for you.
Yes, please, okay?
Okay.
Okay, we are at Z16, Boswell Engineering for the implementation of the operation and maintenance plan at the PJP landfill for the year 2015. Z17 is a contract with DMR Associates, architects in association with the architectural programming, planning, and construction administration for the relocation of various divisions located at 1 Journal Square to 394 Central Avenue.
Can I ask a question on that? Sure. Are they moving the police department up to 3?
No, this is all the civilian administrative side.
Don't we have architects that work for the city?
We do, but we're not that specialized in this type of work, and we're a little bit short-handed there as well.
But next,
So-
yeah.
Oh, no, so we're gonna spend $75,000 to go out and hire an outside
Okay,
architect.
this price, so 75, includes also site management, or is it separate?
They will do the construction management once it works, once we award that contract. So they're gonna prepare the bid specs for us. They're gonna do design, the bid spec, and oversee the construction.
Okay, so this price, $75,000, from the beginning to end, they have not come, anything like that, right?
Correct. It should,
Z18,
and it should be done by summertime.
a contract with Dresner Robin for environmental services for various properties owned by the city of Jersey City. Z19, a professional services agreement with Associated Technology for the electrical and lighting design engineering services for the installation of field lighting at the Ed Ford Athletic Complex at Caven Point. Z20 is a professional services agreement with Edwards Wildman LLP to represent.
I hate to keep everybody here, but C20 to 25, all out-of-town lawyers being hired. I gotta ask a question, and I've asked this several times. We have 22 lawyers, I believe, sitting upstairs, nothing against you, Joanne. But why do we have 22 lawyers? I don't want to offend
Is that what
Joanne.
you said?
Yeah.
I want to make it clear what you just said. You said nothing against you, Joe.
No, I don't want to
Like
say
she's
that.
the only attorney. What about Jeremy?
He's the head coach. Jeremy. Yeah. Jeremy, why do we have 20-some-odd lawyers upstairs when we're farming out everything? I mean,
So first, we're not farming out. We actually farm out very little. We farm out extraordinarily little, actually. And what we farm out are things that require either specific skill sets or that are involved cases where I feel like there's either a conflict or could be a conflict from what we do as in-house counsel for the city versus the actual representation of the issue. So for example, you're gonna see a lot of these are police retaliation cases. So we, as the governing attorneys for the city, advise on police policy, police mandate, and all kinds of police employment issues. And when one police officer says another police officer retaliated against them, we have an inherent potential conflict because we represent all the police officers. So in those types of cases, I go out and I get counsel to represent the police officers. That's how we always handle it, and that's what we do here, and that's what we've been doing. Councilperson Osborne?
Don't most companies, whenever there's litigation, hire outside counsel?
Almost exclusively.
I mean, it's pretty standard practice to do.
And we don't. We do a lot of it in-house, even though we shouldn't, probably.
Councilperson Gajewski and then Coleman.
I want to thank you, and you gave the information that was necessary for me to understand, and I appreciate
right.
Thank you, too, good job.
Z20.
Rich brought up about 5 or 6 of the things to do with attorneys, so I know you sort of went ahead. So like 23, 24, 25, maybe 25 also. I think they may have to do with a similar case.
Old matters.
And the old matters. I'm just wondering, is there any light at the end of the tunnel in cases like that?
We try, and we've been working to either aggressively litigate them so that the timeline moves forward, or to settle them so they finish. I mean, you could talk about cases like the Montone case, some certain cases that go back more than a decade.
Right.
So sometimes these things, they drag on,
Yeah.
and some of them we're able to wrap up. We're pushing as hard as we can to clean them up.
Jeremy, you know what, actually, not only council members, but also people of Jersey taxpayers are frustrated because we are outsourcing so many. Can we get some data, each case numbers, in the beginning of the, anybody who filed a claim, till today, each case, how much we pay legal fee for the case by case? Can we have all those things? You know, because of 50,000 this year, next year 50,000, 50,000, almost 4 years one case I see, almost we pay $200,000. And there's still cases going on.
But I will certainly pull together whatever data we can. Sure.
Case by case.
It's not a lot of money for us.
We pay for so far.
I think we have a lot of those, look at the school board.
Yeah, school board. That's what we need, okay?
So at Z20 through Z25, we're hiring attorneys.
Yes.
Z26 and Z27 we did with the with the tax assessor. Z28 is honoring Stan Kraus, the music man of Jersey City. Z29 through 31, there was a dinner the other night for the Ancient Order of the Hibernians. There were 3 people who were honored: the late Detective Melvin Santiago, Marianne Kelleher, and Jonathan B. Connors. We're doing something for some Boy Scouts that we're working on. The mayor sent me an email asking for a resolution that we'll be working on. Z32, not on the printed agenda, is a professional services agreement with CarePoint Health Medical Group to provide medical services for employees injured on the job.
What is that, what are they doing? What is, I mean, are they taking over,
Boylan?
No, that is Boylan.
This is strictly for the workers' comp, not for the employees' pre-employment physicals.
Is this Boylan?
This is Dr. Boylan, yes. This was, there were 3 proposals submitted.
Z33, a professional services agreement with Strulowitz and Gardula.
Hold on.
Sorry.
Rivera, Danny.
we definitely, the other RFPs that were, this is ridiculous.
This is not the same RFP for re-employment physicals and fitness for duty or anything. This is straight from the workers' comp side.
No, what he's saying is he's not satisfied with their.
So Boylan is gonna get this again.
On the workers' comp side, he was one of the 3 proposals, and this is what the Insurance Fund Commission reviewed the proposals and made this recommendation at the Insurance Fund Commission last month.
So you have the other, can you guys send the other 2 RFPs, like for me, so I can respond?
Sure.
We received an email.
We can send it.
Just be.
Okay, Z33, a professional services agreement with Strulitz and Gardula, physical therapist, to provide physical therapy and rehabilitation for employees injured on the job. Z34, authorizing the city of Jersey City to adopt the 2014, we did this with Mr. Kearse earlier. Z35, resolution honoring the 2014 St. Peter's Prep School Team. And Z36, and Z36 was the resolution Mr. McGreevy brought with him, or Joanne brought.
Z25. This one, why does it have to be?
Okay, hold on. Which are you speaking to, Councilman?
Yeah, G25, a professional service agreement, actually, they started service October 22nd, 14. Is there any reason they come so late to prove this in council? Right.
Very candid.
Oh, yeah, we initially went to procure it, but we had to update the forms. There was some stuff with our forms, we worked it out, and that's why we put it in. We had put it on before this body, if you remember, and I pulled it because we had to go through some of the forms. We finally got all the forms we needed, and they put it back on.
I have not.
Okay?
This is number one. I mean, this is going on, are they gonna be, I mean, they gave out big raises to others last week, when are the girls gonna get theirs?
You talk about which girl?
You're working for the resolution for the council aid, right?
Yes.
Talk about that offline, please. I'll talk to you after the meeting.
All personnel matters and talking about specific.
It's not subject to the closed session.
No, but talking about specific personnel?
Oh, no, I mean, not now. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Just one second, real quick.
We have a motion by Councilman Ron Chow. Go ahead. Okay.
I just wanted to, I handed out something from a young lady who was in my ward, Hudson. She's on a track team. She lives at, Crystal Ortiz lives at 108 Limbeck Avenue. That's a list of her accomplishments, and we'll do a resolution honoring her for next council meeting. But I just wanted you, everybody, all the council people, to see how well she was doing.
Okay.
Thank you, Frank.
Two announcements. The Caucus Room has some new art in it, of the artist exhibit Inspiration, featuring Rosanna Villaflor and Joseph Reyes. If you have other artists who want to feature their art, let them know. Let Pam know, and she'll... Okay, and then my second announcement is Wednesday, we will have, after the lighting of the menorah, there will be a holiday dinner, 4 p.m., by the city council, and please let public employees know, as well as residents. And
Seconded by Councilperson Coleman to adjourn at 7:42 by acclamation. Say goodnight.